All right, so number one, sketchnoting. So sketchnoting, if you haven't heard of it before, is basically visual note-taking. So like, it's more times than not, when you're educating yourself, whether you're in school or not, whether you're in traditional education or not, if you're just studying anything, normally we write in books, right? And it's cool when you're learning it at that time, but then when you want to go back and revise your notes, it's just a whole bunch of text. In order for you to get what you're really trying to look for, you have to skim through all that text and try to find exactly what you're looking for. It takes long. It takes very long. So sketchnoting is basically finding a way on condensing a whole lot of information into pictures and symbols, right? And it has a whole bunch of use. I mean, I've adopted it, and it's really changed not only like my workflow, if you could say that, but it's also changed the way I think. Being able to think in images is crazy. But one of its use is speed. So this is one of my notepads. And this is one that I've done recently. And in these notepads, you can see that most of it is drawn out, right? But in every single page, I'll be able to go and say, I know exactly what each page means, because as long as I see the image, it triggers off a memory. So not only is it something that is helpful in terms of your learning, but it's also just helpful in terms of your speed. So when you're looking for your notes, you know exactly what you need to be looking at. It's right there. So yeah, that's that. The second is comprehension. So sketchnoting. But we're still in sketchnoting. So the second thing that's valuable about sketchnoting is the fact that you're able to comprehend things in a completely different way. To be able to visualize what you're trying to learn not only allows you to understand something better, but it allows you to also make breakthroughs in your learning faster. So because you see this information in a different way, you're able to add something different to it. You're able to make certain innovations that other people probably wouldn't have noticed. There's public uses for sketchnoting. So even if you are in education and somebody wants to see your notes, or if you're in a conference or whatever, and someone wants to see what you've written, you're able to just show them the image and they know exactly what you're talking about, because you don't need to just, if you say something, they have to imagine what you're saying, but if you create the image, you know exactly what you're talking about. For me, I haven't been in education in a minute, so I use this stuff for business. And for me, the person who's able to visualize what they're talking about always wins. Because when you're trying to explain that idea or concept to someone, they have no idea what you're talking about. But if you just pull out a napkin and start drawing it out in front of them, you can't argue that it's right there. We both know exactly what we're talking about. So it has those uses as well. Another thing is that for me, I always have like a little small moleskin in my back pocket, right? And in my back pocket, I always, when I'm on the train and there's a problem or there's something that I'm trying to solve, I go out and I just draw out the problem while I'm on the train or whatever. So sketchnoting is not just something that you do in university, it's something that you just do throughout life to try and understand concepts and try to map out certain things for you to understand information differently. So there's two rules for sketchnoting. One of them is that this is not art. Yeah, it's not art. It's not supposed to be exhibited. It's not the Mona Lisa. When you draw something, it's not supposed to be photorealistic, because a lot of people are like, oh, I can't draw. Don't come with them excuses, isn't it? It's a myth. So anyway, it's not that. Second thing is that it is a skill. So even though you're working on it and you may be terrible at it at first, it's a skill. It comes with time and frequency. You have to work on it over and over and over again. Eventually you'll be better. Once you get good at it, trust me, it works. So cool, what I'm gonna do is give you guys a masterclass in drawing. Everybody in your notepads, draw a square.
Yeah,
Anywhere. Draw a circle. Draw a triangle. Draw a cloud. Draw a line. Draw a dot.
How come a cloud look like that?
But there you go. You know how to draw. So anything that you will ever draw, ever, especially when it comes to sketchnoting, is just going to be a compilation of squares, circles, triangles, clouds, lines, and dots. That's it. So sketchnoting, the cloud is kind of interesting still. Sketchnoting is not art. So when you're drawing or when you're trying to map something out, don't be like, oh my gosh, this is not what something looks like. If it doesn't look, if you're trying to draw a cat and it looks like a dinosaur, just write cat at the bottom, basically. So just so you know that everything that we're ever going to do in sketchnoting is just going to be a compilation of these shapes. Let's do something quickfire when you just draw it as fast as you can. Draw an aeroplane. Draw a cat. And remember, there's no right way to draw these things. There's like a million ways to draw a cat. Draw a television.
And it with the area at the top.
Yeah, with the area. I do that as well. Draw a hand.
Oh, that's three fingers. Simpson.
What, sorry?
Yeah, draw a hand, yeah.
Got two thumbs.
Dumb ones. So there you go, yeah? Even if this is not supposed to look photorealistic, it's not supposed to look like something that you could put up on a wall, but as long as you know what it is, then it's fine, yeah? And the reason why you do it super quick is that, fair enough, when you're doing it in your private time, you could draw however you want to, but this isn't about art, it's about thinking process. So when you're in a conference or when you're in, even now as I'm speaking, if you want to draw out what I'm saying, that you don't have time to try and get the shape as right as possible because someone's going to go into the next point. So it's really just about you trying to get the essence of the thing so you know exactly what it is. Even if it's like a cat and it's just a circle with like 2 points, you know that's a cat. And if you want to make it look better, you do that afterwards, right? Cool. So just say, for example, why it's so important to create symbols is because you're able to condense crazy amounts of information into small shapes. Now, I can't go into it now, but for me, if I was to draw a circle with a dot in the middle and a triangle, I could talk for hours on a circle and a triangle because I was working on a particular study and I was able to condense it down into those shapes. So now whenever I make a point and I draw a circle and triangle, I know exactly what that is. And really that's like pages upon pages worth of information. I don't have to say that all over again. That symbol represents that and I can build off of that. A smaller, easier way of like introducing yourself to symbols is just say, for example, someone's saying something and you're writing something down and next to it you may draw a happy face or you may draw like a sad face or a confused face. Maybe on a confused face that maybe represent to you, that point kind of confused me so I need to speak to the speaker and see what they were talking about when they said that. That kind of stuff is going to be able to not only allow you to condense information, but allow you to think in different ways. So when you're doing live meetings or whatever, just say, for example, you go to a conference or a talk, don't try to, unless you're sick at sketchnoting, like I said, it's a skill that you have to develop, don't try to jump into it straight away and be like, cool, I'm just going to draw everything that they say. Start with squares and boxes and arrows. Just start with that. So I'll just draw it on my notepad now. If someone's going to be talking, I may write their name in the middle and I might say what they're going to be talking about. And as they are speaking, I may just write little points there, put a circle around it. They may say, oh, there's 3 points. And if they say a number, normally listen to that because then you could begin to draw things out. But bullet points, circle things around. And then what it basically is not necessarily drawing anything, but you're knowing how to compartmentalize the information. When you're doing that, you can't take notes how you normally take notes. Because when people take notes, they try to like write every single word the person said. You can't do that when you're sketchnoting. You have to know how to almost hear what they're saying, but know how to condense it in your own way. And as you do that, you're putting things into little boxes. And I suppose that when you finish doing your sketch notes, you look back on it and say, cool, how can I condense this into my own images? And how can I kind of put things into its own little pockets? And then once you know how to condense it down into images, then when someone else says it again in another talk, you don't need to say it. You just write the image and you know exactly what you're talking about. So that's sketchnoting on a whole. If you guys are interested in sketchnoting, I've got this book here, which is basically called The Doodle Revolution by Sunny Brown. And I tell you, it's amazing. Yeah, like this woman fully changed my life, innit? So I'll definitely recommend you get this book if you're into sketchnoting. So yeah, that's that.